I'm doing just fine. I've already casted some great Dota here on this patch, but this is the first one, I believe, right? On 7.0?
Yes, this is the first game I'm casting. But I've played a shit ton of games on the patch, so it should be Gucci.
What are your impressions so far? What has changed? Or what major parts have changed in terms of gameplay?
The game's way more snowbally now. Early aggression seems to be rewarded a lot more.
5 seconds.
Yeah.
And I think map control overall is way more important than it used to be, which is saying something.
Reserve time.
Map control has always been important, but even now with the shrines, just gives you way more avenues to actually make that happen, to be able to respond across the map much better, and also to have a staging point for the smokes. I mean, you've seen time and time again that teams group up on these shrines, make them premier ward spots as well.
Dyer's pick.
But yeah. In this game, Horde already down 2-0 here in the groups here after their performance against Team Empire. They seem to be like a team that still has yet to find themselves, that has yet to just put some oil in the machinery, so to speak, to just line up properly, because it felt like they're a little bit out of sync in their drafts. And now up against Alliance, that's definitely a team that they should know very well. Arke kind of still being tied in to that organization in some way or another.
Radiant's pick.
But it's also a team that they lost to 2-0 the other day in the Well Play Invitational, so I don't know if they are actually able to bring something out today. But Dazzle Weaver, decent enough start, I guess, with some minus armor.
10 seconds
Yeah,
to
Weaver's a
go.
core, I think, that's going to get a lot of love this patch.
Dyer's
Very
pick.
strong laning hero, is able to make use of the early aggression teams want to use now, and he's hard to punish at the same time. Whereas Luna can still be aggressive early, but if you fuck up, then you get punished a
10
lot.
seconds
Weaver's
to go.
got more room for misplays, I suppose.
5 seconds.
And I really like Weaver against Luna most of the time, so
I
Radiant's
think
banned.
it can be kind of hard for Luna to actually fight up against it here unless you have some ways to lock him down, so you can actually get some Eclipse damage off or just lose and beam a couple of right clicks. Of course, Weaver very mobile with the Shikuchi around. Heroes like Luna would want to stand in the middle of the fight, right click away, and not care about having to chase half the time. Guess with Yoga Magi on your team with the Bloodlust, it gets a little bit better. Just having that extra attack speed and movement speed at your side.
oh yeah, for sure. Once Luna gets to a certain level of farm, the game becomes a lot easier. Especially for her supports as well, because it's very hard to go past her a lot
Dyer's
of
pick.
the situations they put themselves in.
Now that Meepo banned from Alliance even. I mean, we've seen Empire pick that up in that last game. Led them to more or less of a 17-minute victory, so kind of running over Horde. So maybe Alliance were thinking, hey, maybe Horde want to pick that up themselves. Of course, Excalibur also more or less known for his Meepo plays back in the day. But not going to be the case here. Instead, they go back for the Legion Commander. Together with the Weaver, seems to be not the worst combo, right? I mean, you have some minus armor, some extra damage to help out the duels.
10 seconds to go.
Yeah, it can also be a really strong laner that can pressure Luna, depending how they want to set their lanes up. It might be a tiny bit early for LC because there's still a lot of the annoying heroes in the pool, but I'm sure they have a reason.
The Darks here now. Do you think Alliance is expecting the Legion Commander safe lane? So just put the Darks here with the Iron Shell against them, or is that still going
I
to be
think
that off laner?
it's more
10
the
seconds to go.
Darks is really good against Dazzle Weaver. Presuming it's a carry Weaver, obviously the hero can go anywhere, but with what they've shown so far and the fact they also have an
Reserve
Ogre,
time.
you have a very easy way to allow your Darkseid to get at least levels, and then you can build up into an early mech. Luna likes to move around, start taking towers, team fight.
Yeah, it seems to be the plan here. Or the Magi, maybe depending on whether he needs help out mid, but he can definitely also go towards the top lane, try and right click a little bit with the Iron Shell on top of him. So Dazzle and the Weaver, if he ends up there, it's gonna have to at least be annoyed in the first couple of levels to deal with that.
Yeah, like Horde's heroes are extremely weak in comparison to like Darkseid and Ogre, so there's room for them to outplay for sure. It's just you have to step very carefully, I suppose would be the best way of putting it.
10 seconds to go.
Start
And I really think we should have it.
Oh, there it is. The Pablo
Radiant's
Patch,
pick.
presumably. The roaming position. What do you think about that?
If it works, it'll be amazing. If it doesn't work, then they're going to regret the pick. But I think Pudge it's extremely strong in the right hands.
Yep.
Purely as a defensive mechanism. If you can use hook as an initiating thing, then I think you're either really far ahead or the enemy team's like misstepping.
Reserve
But it's
time.
more the defensive utility, I think, that makes the heroes so strong.
Yep.
That you can just have someone go hit the tower if you're sieging high ground. Push can hook them out if anything bad happens, or they have to block the hook and then you hook someone away, and it still sets you up favorably a lot of the time.
Yep.
And it's a similar thing to like Ogre, Spirit Breaker, Night Stalker, etc. Hero that moves around early, puts pressure on lanes. He's just a little harder to execute with because you have to get up close or
Yep.
hit the skill shot. And he has 0 armor or something, so it's hard to man fight.
At the very least, just by his pure presence, he's gonna make sure the Lions has to stay on their toes, right? They have to constantly make sure to keep an eye on him, make sure that they play with him in mind, right? Even if you don't see him, you automatically have to play a little bit more careful.
Dyer's ban.
Yep, the mind games are half the issue with Pudge.
Right, Vengeful Spirit now, so a bit of an aura strat starting up for Team Alliance with the Luna and the Vengeful Spirit. Helps them scale a little bit more, helps them
10
also
seconds
team
to
fight
go.
in that sense. But outside of that, I guess maybe the duel, the swap up against a duel, trying to lay some of the damage, could also come in handy at times.
Reserve time.
Basically, what they're saying is they want a really strong 5-man push draft that has the ability to take Roshan and end the game, take map control.
Oh yeah.
The only thing with doing that with these two supports is once like Linken's comes out, or they just don't happen to have detection, or LC purges stuns off.
10 seconds
Weaver's
to go.
extremely mobile this game. LC's not going to have too much to worry about other than
5
raw
seconds.
damage. And they've still got 1 core left.
Even then, you still have the dazzle behind you, especially as a Legion commander, right? If this duel starts turning
This is
south.
really good though.
Oh yeah.
The stuns shows up their lack of lockdown a lot, and it's an even stronger frontliner than Luna.
Also
And they don't
gives you that,
necessarily.
also gives it that extra push potential early on, even without the Luna.
10
Before
seconds to
it really
go.
gets these extra points up in the Moonglaves, you can start chipping away at towers. Unless Horde want to pick up
5
a
seconds.
tree and protector now, then they're not going to be able to repair that. But instead, it's going to be the lone druid last pick.
This is the luxury of having last pick.
Yeah.
Now you have this matchup where Dragon Knight gets absolutely dumpstered.
Yeah.
So Ogre's going to have to help him a lot, I think. And then there's room for Pudge to mess with the Ogre, and things can go really horribly.
Oh yeah.
That being said, they could just, Alliance will still have a lot of success in the off lane and the safe lane, I think. So Dragon Knight's always one of those heroes that is mostly level based.
Yep.
Once he gets level 6, you can start pushing, and it doesn't matter how much farm he has. The more, the better, obviously. But
As long as he doesn't die, you should always be able to get something, especially with the brief fire, just spamming that out. When in doubt, just stay behind and just get a couple of CS that way. Of course, as you said, if the Pudge starts landing some hooks on him or the Ogre, really, they can start turning that lane against him very, very fast. Oh. I don't know why we have a pause before we actually load it into the game. It's a bit annoying.
I think it's something to do with the UI. I don't know why they didn't change the Captain's Mode UI. It was the worst thing in Dota 2 before, and it still is.
It's like
But don't worry, guys. It's still in beta. We're just beta testers. You
pretty
know.
much.
All right.
I gave some pausing. We're loading in. We're ready to go into the second series of the day. Hang on. The hotkey not working?
Get set.
That is
All
alright.
these unprofessional casters that these people hire, you know, it's disgusting.
What can I do to say, man? It worked before when I tested it, then it didn't. Now it works again. I just blame Volvo. It's the easiest thing to do this time around. But yeah, it's the second series of the
I'm
day,
sure
another
that
best of 2.
works.
Lions versus Horde. And, well, Horde, if they want to have a shot at making it out of the group in the first place, and therefore securing themselves a spot straight in the semifinals of the playoffs, then they're gonna have to win some games here. If not, well, they're gonna have to start in the quarterfinals. Alliance, though, well, fresh and early. They have the same goal. They'll play up against Empire after this one as
30
well, so
seconds to go.
this Group A will be resolved today. Alright, looks like he skills on Legion Commander offlane. Scalaborn and Midlone Druid up against the Dragon Knight. Fairly standard lanes. Alright.
Not too much to note, really.
Yep.
The early ward from the Dax is going to scout the pudge rotations, which should be really useful for Alliance. Normal bounty rune splits. And for some reason, we can't see them. Is that a spectator bug?
No, they took away the bounty rune notifications, I believe. Just because it spammed the feed.
Okay.
Might just be for the first bounty runes. Didn't actually keep an eye on that at the other games. But
This is actually huge for what Alliance
yeah.
is doing here, though. This can single-handedly turn the matchup I consider unwinnable to, like, he can't lane anymore if this happens.
Did that a couple of days ago as well. Excalibur, he will be the first blood. Bot blocks from the bear, not enough to keep him safe. And so that's a big deal. He's gonna have another bear as he TP's in. But if this kind of rotation works again, right? I mean, what's to stop Alliance from just going for the backlines again?
Well, the fact they're killing the Dax in now at least helps a bit.
It's top lane Pablo just running him down, okay.
And you can't just sit mid the entire game and leave your Luna alone against this dual lane, so they are going to have to rotate down, start doing their normal support duties. But what they're going to do is like give Dragon Knight the leverage to actually win this lane. Because if Lone Druid's allowed to bully him from minute 1, then the lane looks a lot different. Whereas now, he's way closer to his bottle, which means he can play more aggressive and actually start taking an upper hand.
You have Blood level 2 as well, so Dragon Blood plus a Breathe Fire starting to come online. Being level 2 though, Pablo got his own, just soaking that up in mid lane, so he does have the hook plus the rod available as he's making his way down bottom. Arcane E-skills though, not too worried for the time being here with Hanskin taking the majority of this damage, and he should end up falling. Maybe not first, well he will fall first, but the second casualty will also be Arcane. Nice hook though on top of EGM load, and not a whole lot he can do to help his buddy out. Will be a 2-for-1 trade down here. These skills feeling large in charge right now on the back of that.
This is exactly what Alliance want to avoid.
That hook Pablo is still just acting tanky, just walking up towards Loda, forcing him back.
And the more pressure they can put on this lane, the better they set themselves up. Because Luna's just one of those heroes that if you leave her alone, she comes out at a decent timing and starts wrecking face. Whereas if you put pressure on her, her timings go so far behind and you're allowed to play for longer without her being a threat.
Yeah.
And especially with like having Grave plus C Spirit Bear, Eclipse is less of a threat this game because there's always going to be more units around to tank it.
Yep.
At least in a team fight scenario.
At the very least, despite everything, Loda's the one keeping up in terms of last hits. Only support's dying so far, but of course, you also don't want to give an early head start to a Legion commander if you can help it.
In fact, he's like just pressuring in this lane is all they need. If they stop him farming, it's a bonus, but
they're also keeping the supports busy down here so they can continue to help out in the mid lane. Excalibur now starting to take that CS lead, hitting his own level 4, and up top it's a Weaver, right? It's always going to be fine in the solo lane. The question is, can you... oh god, down bottom. They find the Pudge. Hanskin dropping low and low enough for one more right click to bring him down. Arcane not out of it just yet though. No Shallow Grave, heals not enough. A lot of blood being spilled, and EGM able to get the salve off with the help of Loda. Can he actually get this kill now? Does not have an Lucent Beam, unfortunately, so... Right. I guess I should just not keep my eyes off the bottom lane. Well, the action
keep
happening.
your camera where the Pudge is. It's generally a good rule.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically, Pablo hooks the Luna over Stasis Welcome because his team's like a screen away from him. And they just give away their advantage.
Pablo thus far. At the very least, he's very active. Still 1, 1, and 3, so part of every single kill. Now he's sitting around here in the lines. I believe they have spotted him, running about in and out of vision.
Trouble brewing.
Maybe not those. They now smoke up between EGM and Hanskin, perhaps looking to wrap around mid again.
This isn't anywhere near as easy as it was before, though. And the scan's going to hit, I believe.
Yeah, lasting for long enough. Excalibur gets out hugging the tower now, moves the bear up. Bear's not going to break smoke though, is he?
No, it's just there for the Savage Throw positioning.
Excalibur shouldn't be really be caught up by that. At the same time, down bottom, Pablo's sticking
Maybe the
around.
DK6. No. If he went up and used the fact he was going to level up, maybe that would catch them off. But yeah, they know this smoke's here, it's not going to work. So more pressure on the Luna bottom, more
maybe
free
it is.
farm from the Weaver top.
The stun coming through. Excalibur has his own level 6. Starts to get a bit more tanky. They have enough follow-up stuns to finish him off, but at what cost here? They lose their Ogre. Now EGM also in a really tough position. He's going to make rotation through. No duel just yet. Just get the kill with the rod down. 2 for 1, and the hook actually lands onto Limb. Do they have enough damage to bring him down? Not really sure. Even with Gorks here dropping down the bugs that just don't have any more lockdown available. They'll just walk away, but they make a trade out of it at the very least.
Yeah, I think that was the intention, but when you have a Dazzle that isn't able to TP and save the hero they initiate on, it's kind of weird how they went around that. But at least they made something out of it. And they also got a 40-ish second window where the 2 supports were sat there getting nothing, while Horde's team was actually all getting resources off the map.
Poor Jonas Farm didn't have the surge available, so it just got rotted down way too much. Most frustrating way to die almost up against the Pudge. Them getting hooked from somewhere, just slowly being run down. Yeah, I was just gonna say, at the very least, this rotation mid gave Loda and Jonas Farm some space, but Darkseer dies again. Loda once again with E-skills coming back down bottom, has to be very careful about where he farms. So, what's the way for Lions to turn this game more in their favor now?
I think they have to play around the DK ult. That's like their best tool of making engagements favorable right now. That, or maybe move Ogre top, start cutting creep waves with the Iron Shell, and then force reactions, and then use the space you've made to like maybe push towers on the other side of the map. But right now, they're not really in a position to group up and assert any dominance, especially while Luna has no boots. I've never seen someone build like this, but
Straight Dragonlance. I guess you have 335 move speed regardless, but want some boots, some treads just for the attack speed and nothing else.
yeah, it's just weird to not have boots.
Yeah.
But I'm sure Loda's played this hero enough times to know what he wants from different situations, and he doesn't seem to have been punished for not having boots yet.
Loda's especially, I also think that's with new patch, he's the type of player that wants to experience more than others. Like if the other day when someone played Luna, he also went for Mask of Madness builds, which turned out very well.
Mask of Madness Luna's just like completely broken, I think.
Yeah. Well, mid lane they find a kill. Once again, Dragon and ultimate, range stun. Arcade just a little bit too late with the shallow grave. God damn it.
That's pretty much what Alliance need to do for the next few minutes until they get their first run of core items up. And then they can maybe start grouping up a bit more. And it's just kind of Horde's job to prevent that happening. They've got 2 defensive heroes in LC plus the Dazzle. You could even add Pudge to that list. So they just need to be able to like respond with TPs and such. But the one thing that I would like to see them do more is like pressure the Luna bottom with like the Weaver TPing in and someone setting up a duel. That's like kind of the only thing I think they'd want to do. Otherwise, they just want to stop their LD from dying and stop their mid tower falling to DK ults while they farm up. Because Weaver still wants like his first item. LC's going to want to blink.
It's a bit of a wraparound on bottom, but E-Skills also being gone on. EGM leads off with a stun. TP comes through. Hardscan with a follow-up. Didn't have enough damage here. E-Skills still alive, and now the turnaround is there. Gork's ultimate rotation through. Pablo flants the hook. Loader should end up falling. The dual win on the Ogre will also come through. So it is Horde who get the better end of this bit of jostling for position.
Oh, that's like a huge win because the Weaver rotates down. Now they can push the tower. I don't think Alliance have like enough means to respond. DK's like so low on mana, and what stacks are gonna do? Iron Shell, like creep wave that's gonna die. So now they start chipping away at like how much room the Luna's gonna have. These camps are now suddenly a lot riskier, and with how much less farm there is on the map.
Out of all the towers, the tier 1 bottom, the tier 1 bottom is the one that's where you lose the most map control. Or like the tier 1 safe in general. Oh,
You could
he's
argue
up
the
top.
mid one, yeah.
Eclipse comes through, but the creep wave comes in right in time. He's good, just tanking up one beam. So now Alliance, they have to run away. Even War comes out, but the duel does as well. They're not gonna get the damage, but they're gonna get killed regardless. And now, okay, E-Skills.
Raindrops.
Freaking good item, man. Would have died without those.
Horde just like outplaying them at the moment. Their movements are a lot crisper and their execution's a bit better.
It seemed like a different team compared to how they played against Empire.
It could just be comfort heroes, honestly. Like, you play so much better when your heroes are something that you don't have to ever worry about. Some games you'll be picked heroes you don't play as often.
Yep.
I know, like, everyone on this team except Excalibur plays their hero a lot, which is just going to make executing things a bit easier.
Yep. Especially if you have a hero, especially if you have heroes that are really dependent on being able to execute, like the Pablo Pudge. He's been doing a whole lot this game already.
I'm kind of surprised they TP their Weaver away though. It's like now the mid tower's not as easy to take. You can see they're super hesitant because they aren't sure if they want to go in, if they want to take the risk.
Limp has his ultimate here. They can maybe take a fight with a wraparound. The hook comes through into the tree line here. Gets a stun off. Now 4 heroes trying to track him down away from the reinforcements coming through. Duel comes out. Nothing to save it really. Oh, yeah. Still the winner for E-Skills. Hardscan and EGM way too late to the party. Now the hook comes through. Across the tree line. Pablo, what a monster. And Hardscan will be the next one to fall. Dominating spree for the Legion Commander. Blink Dagger queued up, and only like 300 gold away from it after that. Those shenanigans, yeah. The flip side is that Lodo was able to take the tier 1 down bottom and still farming away, so that's gonna have to be responded to eventually. But Horde, definitely the team with the momentum in this game.
Yeah, taking the bottom tier 1 is like... yeah, it's a very, very small silver lining that you can't really allow this to continue happening for such small trades.
Yeah.
The idea from Alliance was good because they saw the Weaver TP top and they thought maybe they could take a fight with like their 2 heroes that weren't on the lane TPing in, but they took this really long wraparound path, and then if you get hit by a hook, things generally go awry anyway, so their plan got foiled.
Just forcing a Limp here, the back way essentially, whilst the reinforcements came in from the other side. Just gave Horde so much more time to get the damage in, to even get the dual win up against one of the tankiest targets on the field.
Yeah, now we're going to have like a 16-minute Radiance, which is going to completely destroy Alliance's entire game plan. Yeah. This is the kind of timing they want to be strong in. Like, if they
could be it though. TP's come through, but they only lose 1. Shugray for Naki keeps them safe for the time being. But now to swap out as they finish up the Weaver to TP'd in. All of a sudden, Alliance get gifted the team fight down the high ground.
Yeah,
beautiful so setup there from Yunus and Fan here. Vacuum wall on 2, and they're able to keep them contained in that small little plateau there. Also take the tier 1 mid.
Yep, the game just got salvaged. Like, if that doesn't happen and they just let Horde continue farming towards their items, and life gets a lot harder.
Yep.
Now the tower situation is pretty much equal. The tier 1 remaining top doesn't really matter that much in this situation.
Even without the tier 1, you still have to try to TP too, so...
Yeah, that's even better to TP too.
Yeah. just outside of the normal vision, unless you have a ward there. Also easy access to the other side of the map here, just walking all down the cliff. Down bottom, return something EGM, swap out, trying to play. But that's gonna be an easy dual one for East, now up to 38 damage already.
They made it harder than it needed to be though. LC blinks in and gets hooked out.
Okay. Well, it is what it is. Oh, Loda. Luckily sidesteps that hook.
It's like now they get to clean up the tier 2, and maybe they lose their pudge here, but it really doesn't matter. They get a favorable trade. Maybe even denies himself. Life would be pretty good if that happens.
One thing he died there was the tower, so at the very least they got that. But once again, map control just dwindling there for Alliance. And Luna's not at a point.
Heroes.
Yeah. Luna's not at a point where you can say, yeah, at the very least we have a super farmed carry. He's barely keeping up with the Weaver at this point.
To be fair, he's done a really good job to maintain this level of farm with the pressure and the fact his team's not necessarily winning. But the hero needs to generally have a bigger net worth than whatever she's fighting against, unless you can really use Eclipse, which is going to be a lot harder this game. That being said, she's about to take a fat ancient stack, and then she's probably going to be halfway to finishing whatever her next item is. So with this mask, Dragon Lance, she's pretty strong now. Just needs to be saved by a swap and a mech, most likely. Like, she's pretty... Yeah, I think he has mech now, so as soon as Courier goes back... This is probably Alliance's strongest window for the next 5-10 minutes. Unfortunately, Horde might have... Actually, no, he's still 300 away. So, like, if they can fight now, this is the strongest they're going to be.
Oh.
They just need to actually find the fight, which is going to be the hard bit, I think.
Yeah. Both teams more or less grouped up. The only one missing for Horde is Gorks up top. Everyone else running about the middle lane. But Lion's actually looking for this top lane right now, but... Question is... Who reads what first? Like...
Yeah. They made an extremely obvious statement. They just showed like 4 heroes on the lane, so Horde know exactly what's up. And their response is going to be to smoke.
Yep.
Because they just got their Radiance, and they're going to think that their Radiance timing trumps whatever timing that Alliance have. Which could be true if they get a really easy pick-off with a hook or a duel while Alliance is split. But I think if it's like straight 5-on-5, where there's no creeps, Alliance are going to win.
A little bit further away from the rest of this team, should be alright. Excalibur now walking in with a bear, but now the backlines here, they do control up Legion Commander, and now the Eclipse. Landing on a couple of heroes here. RK forced out with Shell Grave, trying to TP out, but they have the swap to cancel that. Meanwhile, in the back, they do finally finishing up Windows Farm. Took them quite some time. Hans, okay, there's a Blink duel now onto the Dragon Knight, and this should be a win. Barely. E-Skills will still take a spill as Loda right-clicking away through all of that. But the bear is still there.
Oh.
Blocking the hook, so that was perhaps a missed opportunity, but Loda still dies to the Radiance Burn in the end. Just running him down. The Shrine was used earlier, so they couldn't use that to keep himself up, so it was a very close fight in the end. But Hordes had the better start here, just isolating the Darkseer on the other side. If he was in the middle of that, I think Alliance takes it a little bit more easily handily.
Yeah, like, his entire inventory was irrelevant there, because he mech'd himself and the fight was split here and here.
Yeah.
And they also took like 15-20 seconds for the fight to end. Someone do the math on Radiance damage on 4 heroes in that time, and you can understand why Horde win.
Oh, yeah.
Especially as there's probably bugs ticking as well, and it's extremely annoying for Alliance to take split fights where they're not the ones initiating.
Oh, that hook from Pablo!
Like this.
Gets it across onto Dragon Knight, follow-up lockdown into the duel. Perfectly executed and set up by this ward on the high ground.
Yeah, but he has a ward there as well, and he still gets hooked. That's pretty tilting.
That is the worst, yeah. Maybe he didn't think that he would see him. Like, maybe it's one of these things, alright, yeah, he's there, but what's he gonna do? He doesn't know I'm here.
No disrespect to Pablo, because he's hitting all his hooks, but I feel like he's just throwing them in the position that any normal push player is going to throw them, and Alliance are just happening to be on the end of them. I don't think they've dodged any hook that his teammates haven't blocked. So I don't think they're particularly used to... Yeah, they aren't playing well against Pudge is
Yeah.
the point. Like, he's hitting nearly every hook. And it's making their game so much easier.
Yep.
He's about to finish his Aether Lens as well, so actually getting just members off as an initiation tool is slightly more feasible now. And the hooks are going to be even more annoying to dodge.
Yep. All that, also the Weaver. Now with an Aegis under his belt, he can farm a little bit more aggressively here towards that Lincoln Sphere. That's going to be helpful up against things like Swap, the long duration stun from the Dragonite as he levels that one up.
Radiant's gone and fortified their structures.
Now Horde, they just keep on keeping on. At the banner up top to help with the push, and they only have 2 tier 2s left after they finish up this tier 1, the Shrines, and then all of a sudden Alliance
Radiant's top
kind of locked in a base.
Dire's mid tower won't last.
Yeah, they really need to get as much tower damage as a trade here as possible. Because I don't think there's any way they win a fight into Aegis now. Especially when they aren't already set up. But I'm 90% sure Horde hit high ground faster than Alliance do. And Alliance have really like no deep push except Glaives, which isn't feasible at this point. So if Horde just keep going, I think they get a free Rax. And if they TP into like bad positions and Pablo just hooks them, then they can lose the game right here.
To TP all the way in the back, with Dragonite on the side, just come through with that Invis Rune. This could catch him off guard. The hook comes through, stun as well. Jonas found perfect position for the vacuum wall, but the duel still comes through. There's just no follow-up damage. Duel, oh, nice little swap battle at least to make sure the extra damage doesn't come through, but Loda still dies. Might have to buy back, and you will, to try and salvage this fight. Another hook. Not even needed. Heggy Skills ends up falling. EGM trades for Excalibur. So far, so good. But they need a little bit more. Gorks Shikuching his way out of there. Limp with the Surge. Could get in range for a stun here, but doesn't have the vision to actually make it work. Bit of a disastrous fight. The Alliance have to make a lot. Have to spend a lot to make that happen, but still get 2 of the highest farmers on. At least 1, if you count the lone to it. But even Legion Commander just slowing him down, definitely helpful.
Yeah, the most important thing to take from that is that they didn't lose their Rax.
Yep.
It's extremely worth the trade on their perspective, because now Horde don't have the Aegis, they still have their Rax, and they effectively traded tier 2 for tier 2. Yes, for tier 3 is ridiculously low, but barring a lot of negligence from Alliance, that's not going to get split pushed. It's probably just going to be when Horde feel comfortable pushing next, which might be right away.
Still have the
Because they still
Aegis
have
for like
Aegis.
2 minutes, 2-3 minutes.
1 minute, right? 1.5, something like that.
2, 3, yeah. Don't have a lot of time, but they have some time to at least maybe go for this tier 2. Creeper if not being pushed out very quickly though.
Yeah, I think they're just in farm mode at the moment. Because they have no bear. Unless it's somewhere I can't see it.
No, it's gonna be able to resummon in 3 seconds.
Yeah, and they definitely don't want to fight without double bear.
Yeah.
In a position where Alliance is already set up.
Speaking of the bear, he also went for a Mask of Madness.
He went
That's
blood,
interesting.
right?
Um,
Oh, sorry, on the bear itself.
On the bear,
yeah,
yeah.
that's really good.
Dire's top tower's gone.
extra attack speed. Helps with the push, helps with kills. But now Gorks finds Limp, the hook flies. This one will be dodged just by walking away. Gorks still in front lines with that Aegis. He wants to use it and wants to force him to spend as many spells as possible. Try and make that happen, but the rest of Horde coming through to force the hand. Easkill's now in the middle of that. Vacuum wall onto 3. Dual win onto Hardskin. Hook in the back on top of the Luna. So he's out of the fight for a little bit, but he's still saved by the swap. Now gets the Eclipse down. Most of that on Pablo. It's still not enough to finish him off as he tries to track down Limp. Will not be able to immediately here, but Gorks and Excalibur with the Radiance Burn just closing out the rest of these slow, low heroes.
It's okay,
Kills.
guys. EGM lived.
Yeah. Oh man. It's just they're just too tanky right now in Horde, aren't they? Like
Yeah, the bear just does too much damage. Weaver's too elusive, and they've got the defensive heroes to make it so that if they ever do catch him with Lincoln's down, he's still probably surviving.
Yeah.
And even if he doesn't survive and you focus everything on him, like you get a 4-man back wall and someone is taking a shit ton of your damage, Lone Druid's still doing a lot, and your bugs are still probably ticking, Weave's coming off, so the life just gets insanely hard. Now, because Vitifri was so low from the previous push, the Rax is nice and easy. Maybe they lose a bear for it, but big deal. They probably
Maybe not,
don't.
though. Bear's also pretty damn
they even
tanky.
get bonus
EGM. Well,
No,
just
EGM's
leaving
the
him. Yeah, it's like
Yeah, it's because there's shrine TPs.
RK might end up falling here, yeah. Vacuum and stun, but at the very least he keeps the rest of his team safe, but just making them use some time with the Shallow Grave.
Yeah, it's still a huge win for Horde, obviously.
Bottom lane
This is
also
where
takes some
Alliance-
damage here just with the creeps.
I feel like they can't just let the game play out naturally. They have to do something that's somewhat erratic or next level to change how the game's going. And I don't think the answer to winning is farming. They're not near any big items, but at the same time, it's like really hard for them to do anything now because the Weaver's just going to be split pushing. The Bear can do it at the same time, and they don't have the best heroes at dealing with either of that. Because
Yep.
Luna can push waves, Dragon Knight can push waves, but they're scared. So they have to do it as groups, which is extremely inefficient.
Yeah.
And it's also
Yeah,
not proactive at all, it's purely reactive, which plays into Horde's hands.
Yep. Don't have easy ways to actually burst people down, especially
Now,
because
that
they're
game's
so tanky.
insanely hard.
Yeah. So you can't go for pickoffs easily. You can't even go for team fights easily. Normally, if you have a Darkseer, sometimes you see these like the combos with something like a Slaughter or any other AoE stun, but they don't even have that this game. All of their stuns that they have on their supports and the Dragon Knight, all single targets. So what use do you actually get out of the vacuum wall?
Positioning advantage and just for hero providing a mech and some really strong early game.
Oh, the hook again! Dragon Knight just losing him straight off the bat to a duel. This is not how you salvage this game for sure. It's going to be dead tier 2. Dead shrines whenever they want to, but with the Dragon Knight down, they can just go high ground.
I'd be surprised if they don't.
Doing so good.
Top lane, Loda TPing back.
At least they want to
2-2-2,
force
but
them back. So that they're not getting split pushed and then they can back off, take the shrine. If they don't get
okay.
a hook.
I was hooked, but only an illusion, so I'll get momentarily excited here. But yeah, they're still right-clicking away. Even just Excalibur himself, not even the bear, is doing a lot of
I mean,
damage.
just look at that mask.
Ugh. Oh, that is another hook. This time Jonathan, he's gonna die.
He has buyback though, right?
No.
He does not. He dips below. He's 13 short.
Well, doesn't do anything. The bear might die, but not for another 5 seconds thanks to the Shell Grave. It's gonna anyway. It's another melee Rex down. It can go straight for bottom after they healed up, reset.
I think they would like to spend money first. Like LC has a BKB that isn't on her. They might as well take the shrine.
Yep.
There's no reason for them to go straight bottom now. It's smart for them to just back off, heal up, and prepare their next round of items.
And wait for the next
Maybe
bear
even
cooldown,
rush
I guess.
if they want to. Like it's a minute away. They can wait for their second bear, as you said, which is a really good idea. And then they can play the game a lot safer.
Stick around the general area line so they realize they have to make something happen, but if they want to fight the shrine, they're gonna have to go high ground, and they will. TP in from Jonas for fun, stun onto his skills. This could be a good kill, but the Shellgrave's there in time. The hook out, Pablo, well, not even dead yet. The Eclipse not doing nearly enough. They will get the bear though, and now, without a bear, Horde really don't want to fight. Nice little vacuum here, catches two. Pablo will fall. Ake still being tracked down by Jonas for fun. Another Shell Grave available, so you can make them work for it, can maybe heal up a little bit with Shrine, so... do whatever you can, but it's not going to be enough. Alliance find a little bit of hope, but they're still up against it. Gorks at the same time, with a DD rune just pressuring the base. It's only range tracks, but it's enough to force Alliance back, because every single bit like that, it's just gonna make it so much easier for Horde.
Yeah. Like if Gorg didn't do what he did there, maybe Alliance have a creep wave around here, and then they can push a tier 2 and get some stranded like momentum. Whereas now it's like they killed 2 supports, their mid lane's pushing in, their top lane's pushing in, and they don't feel so good.
Yeah.
The game's already hard enough, and like their comeback window, which to be fair, they started off a decent fight, but now they have to do it again and again and again, and eventually Horde are going to figure out that if it even takes that many attempts.
Yeah.
Because I believe they can just walk into Roche and end the game afterwards. I don't think they have to do anything fancy now.
Ideally, you want
Especially
to take
if
care
Weaver
of the
being so
shrine.
tanky.
Yeah.
I suppose. I think they can just brute force the Roshan though. Especially with the Alpha Wolf. It's a nice bit of extra damage.
It's gonna be a plan by the looks of it here. They also have Solar Crest and somebody. It's RK.
Yeah, and their positioning's really smart right now as well. Because they know they can just let the Weaver take the Roche. And then if they initiate on him, they've got so many tools to change how the fight goes. Because Alliance's initiation isn't really very strong. It's you just purge it with the LC or you hook the person out, and then they're kind of
the
just
Alpha
in
Wolf
there.
there. These skills, he just goes in, takes the Spawn out for a little bit, but he's gonna lose that duel here. And the fight goes on. 1-1 trade so far. Eclipse comes through, not really doing anything. It's Alliance already calling for a trade, at least some of them. Spawn returns. Loda also gets the call. Vacuum Wall. Shallow Grave on loan to it here. The bear is still fighting in the midst of that, but he will die. 300 extra gold in favor of Alliance. Gork's on the outside. Alliance don't really care about him by the looks of it.
I think they know
Got the
he's
momentum
way
going.
too annoying.
Yeah.
But that's a really good fight for them, considering they got something out of a fight they shouldn't have been able to.
So just
Maybe his skills just got bored or some shit,
Yeah.
or he didn't press his BKB button, which I don't think mattered too much because he just died to right clicks.
I died to multicast. It was like a triple multicast in the midst of that too.
That's still like not that much damage. It's more like the right clicks, I think. But regardless, the point is still that he made a silly initiation, and now it's kind of costing his team because they're losing an Aegis here.
Oh.
I don't know if he dies twice, but
Lincoln's is still triggered for another couple of seconds, so they do have plenty of follow-up here. Oh man,
yeah,
that
that's
is
how to throw a game.
Yeah.
But it's still really hard for Alliance. They have BKB money on Luna now, so that's a huge relief.
That's a long road ahead of them, but they're taking the right steps.
Yeah, for sure. They also have the gem on EGM now, so map control is going to be harder for Horde to maintain, which is kind of why they're so far ahead.
I mean, for a team that has 2 melee wrecks missing, Lions have some pretty good vision out on the map. I mean, the 2 wards here around
Yeah,
the
they
Roche
have the
pit.
better vision.
Yeah.
And they're going to continue to if EGM doesn't die here. So he's really far away from his team.
He should blink forward after 4 stuff into duel, into the hook for some reason, but they're still gonna be able to win the duel. Trusa comes through, jump on the deck and limp. Well, they want to fight here. Loda and him with a BKB. They should be able to finish up Dazzle in a second. Legion Commander, nice little defensive hook to the other side, but Loda, he's pretty damn fast and pretty damn angry. They want to find him, but the blink comes through on his skills. Pops the BKB, but they do find Pouch instead. Constellation Prize inside the
That's the
trees.
gem back. If they can find it.
I think they did.
Yeah, I think they know where it is. Oh, they're
Oh,
gonna
there it
skip
is. It's on the other
anyway.
side, yeah.
Yeah,
Got dropped on the other side of the trees.
Yeah, the way it works with dropping items around trees is so bullshit at times. You see, they're even vacuuming it because they don't understand where it went. Because
Yeah.
Dota's a dumb game.
I didn't understand it. I
That's
mean,
not-
he died here, the gem ends up there. Like, what?
2 pixels can't be on top of each other, apparently.
Yes.
Game doesn't like it.
Oh well. They get back here, they get
More
some
good news
kills.
for them. Like, they're actually out on the map now and they're able to do things.
Yeah, able to farm. Loda just picked up the BKB, now he's back up to 2k gold already.
And Luna's starting to get to the point where one more item's going to push her over to the edge of you not being able to deal with her anymore.
Blessings upon
do you think that item's gonna be? Do you go back to like a butterfly or something?
Butterfly, AC, Scatty. I think you need like some kind of hybrid item that gives you a bit of tankiness and damage. I think butterfly's the best.
Yep.
Which it looks like he wants. Yeah.
Gork's already working on the KB though. Has it queued up, so once Lolo sees that, he might think twice about it.
Yeah, but there's
But
also
it's
the
late,
Spirit
yeah.
Bear and there's also the LC, so there's a lot of merit to it. And the fact it just gives you so much damage is also like a defensive mechanism in itself.
Yep. Have to go for that.
Horde are actually in somewhat of a problem if Gorg doesn't have his damage item before they fight. Because at the last few fights, he just has been hitting them like a wet noodle.
Yep.
And the bear is dying because it's extremely fragile with Mask of Madness. Now it's at least got an AC and a Basher, so they might be able to get more lockdown on the Luna.
Lucky positioning there for Gorg, just spotting out the smoke gang glimpse. Still in the middle of that, gets a stun off onto Arke, but that gets purged off. Duel now, top of the Dragon Knight, swap out to keep him safe, and a lot of right clicks being traded here. Duel will end without nothing, but Lodas in the midst of that gets the Eclipse off, still alive somehow. Excalibur to Shell Grave, but doesn't have the bear. Doesn't have anything left to give, so it's going to be a 1-for-1 trade between these two heroes. Follow-up stun there from Limp, though, on the Weaver. This will turn this in favor of Alliance, especially if they find something else. A triple kill for the Dragon Knight of all people. The one that went in gung-ho, got dueled, got everything thrown at him, but yeah, he's an AC holder, he has a BKB. 3k health points with the Albert at the ready.
Yeah, they've got a Vlad, they've got a Solar Crest, and the main carry has no damage items for Horde, and E-Skills doesn't do damage either, so they have problems. They really have problems.
Yep. Lions are starting to take these team fights up. Yep. Just imagine if Luna had that butterfly, maybe Loda even survives there in that fight.
Yeah, but that's like 2k gold away.
Yeah. Meantime, the rest of Alliance gonna help get there, taking down the tier 2. Shrines are now also open for business, so it's 150 gold each when they bring those down.
Yeah, now the map is pretty much as open as it's ever gonna be. No towers, no shrines after they take the one by the Dire Secret Shop, which I don't think they can do yet, but at some point.
Limp with the DD rune did like 500 damage between the Vlads and the Vengeance Aura as well. That's also another thing, right? This percentage-based increase in damage. It's not just helping out the Luna in these fights, but also the Dragon Knight, who can, in other lineups, can have issues just turning into a right-clicker. Not here, though.
Yeah, he doesn't even have like that much raw damage. It's just with how long the fights are going and with Horde's lack of ability to burst a hero, Alliance just... Because they're tankier, they have more damage in the long run. Because they're always the ones coming out with more health and chasing you when you realize you have to turn and run. It's not been the other way for a while now. And the Bear's only getting easier to kill. The Weaver's only getting like so much more farm. And he can only focus one hero unless you get like a Mjolnir. The hero is single target based, whereas Luna's going to kill your entire team. And I know who I'd rather have with a late game scenario.
Yeah.
And I'd even rather have DK instead of a lone druid.
Oh yeah? I mean, lone druid's only as strong as a bear.
It better for Alliance here. It really just gets better for them.
Yeah. Also the Bloodlust.
Yeah,
they have so many buffs between the supports, right? I mean, EGM, Hanskin, and Jonas and Fan. If they're alive in a team fight, if they are able to start it and be in the middle of that, Jonas and Fan just with a bit of control, but most of these defensive items with the pipe as well as the Garland Greaves. Then the Vlads, the Solar Crest, just the Vengeance Aura being there. It starts that up.
A drum as well, so that emphasizes like. Whoever is making the calls is saying, buy every ore item in the game, and we're going to stick together, and we're never going to leave each other's arms.
Look at Hanskin, he has another buckler. Yeah, he's going to get the Crimson Guard too, so... Absolutely all of the armor items, all of the aura items, and so far it's been working. Now they're gonna have to put that to the test again. Up top is Horde is making their way through, just going for the easy objectives, I guess. Split pushing on the range frags, forcing the Alliance back.
It's still a win for Alliance, though, if they get the shrine and they even happen to get a fight here.
That hook though, just short.
Like Luna just finishes her butterfly, as we've mentioned, a few other items got finished up. So I think if they can push this wave out, and then continue to stay around Roche, they're in a good spot. The only way Horde really gets a huge advantage, I think, is if they can snipe Roche. And that only happens if Alliance aren't on this side of the map. For like 30 seconds. Maybe more.
Radiant does use a scan, they know exactly where some of Horde's heroes are, but Horde's with the ward, they also see what's going on. They see that this Roshan is being done now by Alliance. Third one in game, so Aegis and Shaze. Courier dies in the backlines, but it's way too late. Just way too much damage. Hook comes through onto Limb. But he's still able to pop the BKB. No follow-up, so Pablo should end up falling in the middle of that. And Horde, look at them. They're like all around this one Alliance unit. Just scrambling to get themselves out of there.
And they're not on the same page right now.
Yeah.
So like, what's happening is Gorg's killing this wave, then running to the fight, which is blatantly not happening after Pablo hooks the tankiest hero in. And they just like... They're scattered.
Yep.
Every time. And it's not necessarily bad for them to be scattered, because I'm pretty sure they know they ain't winning a fight head-on 5v5. So they have to split them up, use the Weaver split pushing, draw a hero back, take a 4-on-5 fight maybe? Something along those lines. But I don't think it's clear for them. Because they're still trying to like move the heroes towards the fight instead of split pushing. Which is just making Alliance's game even easier because they have less waves to push out.
Yep.
It's like Horde's only hope at the moment is the split push, I think. Because Alliance is staying so closely knit that it's very easy to rat them at the moment.
All the initiation that Horde had at the beginning of this game, be it just some good hooks or just a blink duel, it's just not viable anymore. Because if you blink in right now, or if you, as we saw last time, if you hook the wrong target, even now, what is the right target? That's also a question. Probably
the
EGM.
Venge or the Dark Seer is so far away from the Venge. I suppose in an ideal situation, you hook the Luna and then your team somehow kills them. I know, the game's bleak for them. They lack damage. Like, really badly right now.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, like, you might look at the Weaver and say, yeah, but he's got 3k health, he's got an MKB, surely he can stand and fight, right? No, because he doesn't kill them quick enough. They're going to have 2 or 3 heroes wailing on him while he's trying to do a tiny bit of damage to one. Like, I kind of think... Obviously, their play wasn't immaculate to, like, throw their advantage away, but when the Weaver had Aegis and he buys a Scatty, kind of feels too defensive. And then because they lost the advantage they had, this Scatty is, like, the worst pickup that could have happened. If he at least had, like, a Deso and half of a BKB or something, then... he at least has damage for the following fights, whereas now we've seen time and time again. And it's only going to get worse because it's Aegis and Cheese now. But Alliance just don't die.
Yep.
There's also Heart on the DK now. Luna's probably going to finish another item before... It might only be BO2s or something though, because she's already slotted with an Aegis.
It's a casual Morbid Mask in the stash for some reason. So perhaps Satanic eventually, yeah. Mask of Madness
shame you can't disassemble.
Yeah. It is. Weaver, Metal Hammer.
Yeah, I suppose that's the swap in for when your Aegis gets popped.
Yeah.
And then you pop your BKB, and if they even pop his Aegis, I mean, now
might not be able to, yes.
Knocking on the door, and Horde have no superior positioning. They're all 5 heroes behind their tier 3, so they have no flank. They have only good hooks. That's all they're relying on here. And I'm pretty sure Alliance are only going to show targets they don't care about getting hooked.
Limp in the forefront. Loader, as long as he has the Aegis, also doesn't really care. Now they're getting the first bear down. Loda started to drop low, just with Gorg striking away at him, but yeah, he doesn't care. He wants to use that Aegis. Might still not get to with Root coming through. Secondary bear, Shellgrave barely keeping Gorgs alive as he turns it around with Timeless. That's the Aegis being triggered. He's got the middle of that, already popped the BKB, but just wait till damage being done. Gorgs might find Hanskin here for some lasting heroes dying. They only lost the tier 3 so far.
There's no bear anymore.
So no more bear, no more Gorg. See if he dies. Shellgrave, hook out from Pablo so to keep him safe. But Loda even wins the duel here as E-Skills goes in for that. RK almost dies to Glaives as they finally finish off the set of racks. Buyback for E-Skills. What can he really do? He goes in the middle of that, he gets stunned up and right click down.
Unfortunately, all they can do is sit and watch, really.
Gets found, but he eats the cheese. Says, nope, I don't care at all about anything. Loda, meanwhile, just doing objective-based gaming, going straight for the tier 4s. Things better a bit here. They still have bottom ranks to go for safely.
I'm really surprised Horde decided to try and fight that. We've had the last few fights win, and the fact they could maybe do some kind of base race scenario when they're 2 racks off. Instead, they try and fight into a lineup they haven't been able to kill. I believe the definition of tilt is what Horde are right now. I can guarantee you they ain't happy.
I'm not an expert, but I think they lost right now.
It's not just that they lost, but it's like they lost from such an unthrowable position in a lot. If you're a professional player looking at this game, you're like, yep, they can close it out. They're pretty comfortable. Go next. But Alliance managed to make it so that there was a game, and then Horde just made like a few bad decisions, and Alliance didn't. And as I stated a bit earlier, Alliance just scale into the game better.
Yep.
Because the Lone Druid is such a liability. His bear's never getting like tankier than it is at like minute 8 or something when you get level 7.
Yep.
Outside of armor.
Floating through the clouds, a light emerges from beneath the sand. Distant miracles seem so far away. Across this universe, she lives another day. I know the reason she stays. I know the reason she's so far away. I know the reason she stays. I know the reason she's so far away.
Also, an extra hero. Gorks really likes that one, so it's definitely comfort zone. Also gels kind of well for any sort of IO strat, because IO can link up with somebody else. Lifestealer can invest into either one of them. All of a sudden, instead of the +2, you have a +3 coming to anywhere on the map, just trying to turn the fight around.
It's also just a very strong laner against like a Spirit
10
Dax.
seconds to go.
That too, yeah.
A lot of carries are going to have trouble laning the Lifesteal is just an extremely safe option.
Other options sort of maybe
Reserve
being
time.
like Timbersaw,
Dyer's
like that, or
Yeah,
if you want to go
non-carries.
crazy, yeah. Bloodseeker, I guess. Juggernaut.
Bloodseeker would just die, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah,
potentially.
Jug could have worked. But I think Lifesteal is just,
Yeah, it's
I don't know, it's more aggressive, which is probably why Horde want to take it.
You don't have the slaughter with him this time around, so it's normally not like this one inseparable duo that you often see, but of course this game banned
10
out in first
seconds to
phase.
go.
No option to go back into that.
I'm sure what you do here is you just have a mag mid or something, and then an offlaner who can jump, and then your life's easy for Horde.
Reserve
Yep.
time.
But there's a lot of ways they can take their draft. Could even be an offlane Lifestealer, we don't know. There's options.
Yeah. Well,
As for
Meepo's
Alliance, I
banned.
think it's going to be very laning based.
Yeah.
Like they're going to want a mid laner who can deal with either a dual lane or apply a lot of pressure. So things like Quap, Puck,
Templar
make
Assassin,
use of
maybe?
the Earth Spirit.
Dyer's pick.
Maybe. That hero is so hard to run these days because of the amount of things that break refraction.
Yeah.
But I suppose with the double ancient camps and things that might make the hero better. I don't know, I've been seeing it more this patch, but I haven't personally played it, so I don't know how good it feels.
Yeah.
The TA is just like awful to play into anything that burns your refraction quickly, which currently Horde don't.
In Alliance, they do have the advantage of having that last pick,
Reserve time.
so could be something in the back of the minds just to throw that down.
Yeah, it's definitely a valid idea. Save your mid lane to counter pick.
And now heading to the meat of the draft, we're still looking for another support, like a 5% support plus a carry. And I don't know, Weaver's been banned. Also said that he's of course one of the better ones up against the lifesteal that doesn't really care too much about the open moons. To just maybe go for something like a Sven here.
I like the idea of either being able to man fight, so things like Sven, or a hero that can get on the back lines, which Horde banned out the PA, which is like the one that comes to mind. So unless they wanted to go for something like PL, who can create very chaotic situations in fights and is also a pretty garbage hero at the moment, I think. The Axe is really nice on him, but I don't know if that's enough to warrant making the hero pickable.
Yep.
But it's pretty safe from Alliance just picking up Bane. Generally pretty good against Lifestealer. If you force the IO to relocate people away, then your team's probably doing something worthwhile meantime.
Yeah. If he's relocating in, you can Nightmare one, Fiend Script the other, and just start controlling it a little bit more. Up against Tiny though, a little bit more dangerous. Yeah, if he's left to roam free, he can just burst someone like a Bane down fairly easily with a combo. But something that you're always going to have to deal with anyway. Lions now with the Timber Saw picked up into the Bat Rider from Horde.
That was a snap pick as well, so they knew what they wanted. And they didn't care what Alliance picked. And it makes sense because it's an extremely strong offlaner. The hero, I think, is insane this patch. Despite his repeated nerfs to his spells, the hero just keeps getting better and better.
Yeah. He still does the same thing, right? Especially with any sort of higher lineup. Bad Rider is the one who's going to start flying, looking for a pick, blink lasso, control him up, buy enough time for the relocate to come through. All of a sudden, there's like 2 or 3 extra heroes there to round out the kill. And unless Alliance is already in position to counterplay that somehow, then you're going to have a hard time actually reacting to that. And, well, if you don't get any counter kills there, then either they just take a tower or they just relocate the hero back to farming essentially on the other side of the map. It can be quite frustrating to deal with, but last couple of picks also very quickly coming out. The Silencer for Horde. Gonna be quite interesting. What's super useful up against Alliance with Earthbird, Darkseer, Timbersaw. Like if they want to commit into a fight, they get global silenced all of a sudden. They're in a very compromised position.
It's also cancer to play Slack into Silencer.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Horde's got a huge favor on the draft here. Because the way Alliance deal with them, I think, is by Slack being ridiculously overfarmed, or by splitting the map with Darkseer pushing in waves of Iron Shell and then Timbersaw pushing in waves and baiting Horde into bad spots. But they have a relocate. So baiting heroes into bad spots is something you have to do with like extreme caution. You have to have a very good read on the situation. Otherwise, you're probably regretting your decision. Obviously, Horde can still make mistakes and stuff. It's by no means a straight up cannot win.
Yeah.
I don't think any games like that anymore. I don't know, they're friends.
Yeah.
I don't understand anything except English because I'm an ignorant brat. You gotta learn my language too.
Well, I speak 2 languages, so thank you.
Yeah, and you learned my language.
Yeah, I did.
It's so easy, man. We don't have to learn anything. We go to France, we go to Germany, and we just speak English, and people like generally speak it back.
Well, maybe that's why you end up with Brexit now, so hey. Hey y'all. Okay, I had a leg spike. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, you keep cutting out occasionally. It's really annoying.
Oh man. I don't know what it is with my internet connection. Like every hour or so, I've get a spike. And just cut out.
I know that feel.
Yeah. Or at least it doesn't break the stream entirely. That would suck so badly. But yeah, game number 2. Horde 0-3 in this entire group stage so far. This is the last game actually, so probably gonna have a hard time, even if they win this one, to end up in the semi-finals in the playoffs straight away anyway. Sorry about these lanes. Middle lane for now, it's only gonna be Limp on a Timbersaw against IO Tiny. Should be alright if he gets an extra level up in the reactive armor.
The only way he dies in this lane is if the Tiny like gets him low from 1 or 2 tosses, and then yeah, he misplays. If he's like full health, he has a fairy fire, he doesn't die.
Yep.
Even if he gets tossed into tower, I think he just happily walks away from it, unless he gets tossed in a second time after the first time.
That should
Which
never
is
happen.
With Tether Slow and body blocks, it is possible for sure.
I guess.
But he might also just kill them by using his Q at that point. Because both these heroes get absolutely shredded by Timber.
Yeah. They are both strength heroes, so yeah.
Exactly.
Kind of... It's always been weird to me to see a Battle of Light be a strength hero instead of like intelligence or something, but... guess it's what Dota is.
Don't ingest logic into my video game.
Yeah.
What have we here?
This is not a logical place.
Nope.
Never has been, but yeah.
Oh, double rune deny. That's
Ooh.
huge. Gets a bounty, gets an arcane rune. Feels good.
Hanskin doing something with his life here on level 2 as well, so you have that extra spell available.
And they're like winning all 3 lanes right now. They all have in and around the top CS, whereas the Batrider is only able to get experience in this lane. He hasn't been able to get any farm yet, and he also hasn't done any stacking from minute 1, so this is his first chance to secure some jungle farm. And if Alliance can force him to jungle and then maybe have the Bane move around or just start spam pulling to further add to their economy, it puts them in a good spot. Because they need to be playing from ahead for their game to work the way it wants to. And currently they're doing everything they need to.
So far, so good. I mean, top net worth chart still being contested between Unisom Fan as well as mid Tiny, but there's a rolling down bottom. Stun on 2. Arke is starting to drop low, and that'll be the first blood. No defensive utility for him. Gork's trying to trade for Hanskin here. Double Angel still going in the rage. Will wear off soon, but it's gonna get the kill. Good Arke just taking that opportunity to TP top instead.
Yeah, but unfortunately his
bottom.
carries
Well,
not
he
like
still has rage available. Has to use it now. A couple of right clicks might still be able to do the trick, but when we save a lot of time, he will fall. Okay.
And this is like the best thing they can do when they move heroes top.
Also nice.
To pressure the Slayer.
Yeah, nice job actually juggling the tower aggro between Hanskin and Jonsson. Make sure that none of them die to it.
Yeah, that's nice and easy though when you have fog to work with. And they can just continue doing it. Like Lifestealer TP's down here. The Wisp with Invis might be able to like counterplay a bit here, but they just have such an easy game right now.
Yeah, Jonsson. I think they still see the orbs around him. So,
I'm not sure on that actually.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. I mean, if I switched to the Dice Vision and you saw the orbs and it was also running away. So I'm not sure. Oh, that's a toss back into the tower. Arke is there. But also Hans gonna need gem. They find Excalibur instead. Now Nightmare on top of the silence on the high ground here, but not really easy ways to follow that up with. Everything being on cooldown and the Arcane Curse also taken away, so they do get the important kill.
And they get to shrine up. So no real loss on their part.
Just go again here. I mean, Last time around, they had
why
the initiation kind of giving to them by Excalibur tossing a limp in.
All they want to do is deny the rune and just maybe set up for Batrider. This is so annoying for Horde when this happens.
Z for Hanskin.
And now Jonas is farming like a triple stack bottom. He's gonna have a fairly easy mech timing if nothing goes awry. And then they can really start setting the tempo. Up until that point, I think they might be a bit dubious.
Alright. There's a 4-man rotation in total. Batrider also making an appearance here, so they do bring down the Timbersaw.
Did he toss into Lasso or?
I don't know. So they just walk up to him. Yep, now they're gonna try and put some pressure on the tower. Don't have the easiest way to take it down though, without employing a lot of toss. Now TP back. Everything should be fine. Down bottom, units are fine. Well, probably time to go back to base. Shrine is on cooldown and everything. Middle lane might not be done yet here. EGM. Kind of lucky that he missed the stone there, yeah.
Yeah, he missed his stone.
Missed the stone, ends up helping him out. Otherwise, he would have just rolled straight past the IO.
Double damage.
They do get at least that counter kill, but man.
Dire's mid towers have
That's some action happening.
I'd say it's fairly good for Alliance, just on like their Slack getting some space. Because this hero can really snowball the game. Looks like he wants to buy shreds, but if he gets like a really early Shadow Blade, the game gets like a lot harder for Horde supports because they can't deal with Slack. Wisp has to be able to tether out to someone, and he generally dies from like the Shadow Blade hit and the pounce, and then obviously Silence of Immobile as a ranged creep.
It's gonna be able to finish up with the treads soon. Oh, that has it right now actually. How's Limp doing?
Mech comes out as well.
Yeah. Like Limp is the one that I'm worried about. He's 0-2 and 3 now, gets going on again. He's still showing his face, but this time around Timberchain across is still looking for it though. And the root from these ancients actually keeping in place longer, enabling that last to come through.
Yeah, that's tilting.
He's cursing Ice Frog right now. I can tell you that much.
He died to ancient creeps, man. Feels bad.
Can't do nothing about dire structures, right?
Well,
Radiant got one last top tower.
He's gonna have to accept this and move on. Rest of Alliance. CGM and Hanskin still sticking around, but gotta be careful. TP comes through, but GM already almost dead. He goes for Nightmare instead of the Brain Sap, and now Loda trying to turn us around. Half health, but pops his ultimate. Excalibur still alive thanks to Pablo. Should be able to continue here. God, no Shrine to help Loda out, so he dies too. Limp coming back into the fight, but he's unable to really get the right angle in. Excalibur being kept alive by Pablo all this time, and now being dragged back to base, healed up, and right back into the middle of things. That did not work out the way the Alliance had planned, that's for damn sure.
And this is the point of the game where they need these fights to be going in their favor. With how badly the Timbersaw's doing in comparison to the rest of Horde's heroes, it's just... That's a fight they could have done with not having until Darkseid had mech. If he has mech there, the game looks a lot different.
Yep.
But instead they take the fight anyway, and it kind of backfires massively.
Like 70 gold away now on that particular item.
Like, Horde were a good chunk behind before this. How do you even bring up the gold graphs anymore? Where's the...
Still F6 or 7.
Alright, you still have to hotkey it?
Yeah.
Okay. I always used to just track them down before. Yeah, basically they were like...
Go to scoreboard, I believe.
Yeah, it's fine, I've got the hotkeys. But they were like 1,000 or 2,000 ahead respectively on their course. Overall. And they kind of needed to keep that.
Oh, that thought again. Lim caught by a lasso, just unable to get the right Timberchain out. He dies again. Hanskin in the middle of that has to be careful. He has his ultimate to throw out. Trying to bring down Pablo, but it's not even going to be enough. He's just TPing out. And... oh, wow, he still dies. Alright, at least I got that. But what cost? 2-for-1 trade. Arcade was in the middle of that too. Plus 14 intelligence now. At the very least, Loda somehow finishes up the Tiny up top. And the solo kill. Okay.
That's a nice bit of a silver lining for them.
Misplay there perhaps from Excalibur, but still, I mean, gotta keep in mind, the more of these kind of skirmishes you'll lose, the less effective your Timber Sword's gonna be. I mean, look at him, he's sitting at 400 mana. I'll trying to go for that right here, and EGM is just trying to keep himself alive with a couple of spells, but not gonna happen. Excalibur with the toss at the right time. Not a +2 for Arke, and instantly into the smoke. Do they have a Blink Dagger yet? No. Actually, yeah, Excalibur has
Tiny,
one,
yes.
not on Bat Rider.
Yeah, Bat doesn't need one right now, with the Tiny being able to rush it.
They might be able to intercept load up top here.
Radiant's top tower.
Yeah, with how Alliance want to play this, it's so hard for them to split now. Because there's two forms of initiation, there's a Wisp.
Radiant's
He
top
has a really good read there and dodges the gank, but if he dies there, then it's just more momentum Horde's way. Like, he has to be on the map and he has to be like at least getting equal amounts, if not more farm, for them to have any chance of like this hero getting big enough. Like Timbersaw being a really slow start hurts them, but the hero is still relevant in terms of its spells. Slark, he needs farm. The heroes are relevant without it. And he's doing a good job keeping on top of the net worth. I imagine it only gets easier once his Shadow Blade comes out.
It's not too far away either.
bottom tower ain't
Yeah, like 200 gold.
Yep.
The Dire might want to mine their top tower.
But they did miss their window where they could use the Dark Simic. He even opted to go for the Arcanes before,
Towers
because it took so long.
Them Dire buildings are tough as nails. for now.
He hasn't coming up now. A little bit. They're already they've already been grouped up for a little while, so Horde has plenty of time to react to this however they want to. Isgard's the first one to make the rotation through. They're already going Gorks here, no rage, but Global Silence to try and counter this out. Still stunned from a rock, but now able to turn around Hanskin. Should be the first one to fall. Excalibur at the same time fights Jonas for mechanism keeps him alive. But the last one to EGM means that they're still going to lose at least two, and Jonas found not out of the woods yet either. Excalibur continuing with the chase, vacuum back into the wall, and to relocate back out. The rest of Horde, well, that should be enough damage at a time, isn't it? Yeah, it is. -2, it went to the Silencer. Arke, feeling very happy about this game so far with that Arcane Curse maxed.
Guess what's happening?
I feel like
Bottom tower.
yes, they've got really nice vision to see Horde rotating in, but they know what heroes they're playing against. They know what they can do. Alliance quite regularly plays these kind of heroes, and they still show 4 heroes bottom and try to fight. I don't know. I was extremely optimistic.
Yeah.
And this is where Horde really like hit their stride. It's only going to get easier for them when the map gets more open. It's one thing they do lack for is like tower damage. It's going to be different once Echo Sabers start coming out and stuff, but they of course need items so they can push. And the more open the map gets, the better it is for them.
For now, I think they're going to be
Especially
fine.
since Timber is so
with-
poor.
yeah. I think Fort's going to be fine. I mean, they don't really care too much about not being able to instantly take down towers after winning team fight, because they, like with this kind of combo that we've just seen, they should be able to take any single team fight that Alliance is throwing their way, unless they just do it perfectly or just get a pick off to begin with. Batrider caught by Loda. Now relocate in. Loda actually ends up dying to the AoE, and also a bit on Unified. Magnum comes out way too late though to save their body, and now they just have to try and scramble Pablo. He might die, and he will before he gets relocated out, but you don't really care about that whatsoever. Or fight a slow onto Limb. And yeah, follow up with another avalanche. 3 for 1, and looking for another one. Jonas van forced to go into the trees once again with the wall. Just toss an illusion
He's
next
done
to
this
him. Why the hell
before.
not? Oh man. This is just a disaster. E-skills is godlike, sneaking away some of these kills. But the rest of his team's not far behind, actually. Just in terms of,
Much as
you know.
I would like to say Horde's in a really good position, but they seem to be able to throw bigger leads. So we'll see how well they continue with this one.
Yeah.
So where EGM is at the moment with all the
Business.
like lasso relocate on cooldown. If they could find a pick, it would be really nice. But they still have global to deal with, so
That's
Holy
Pablo.
Flame
Don't
fight
wanna,
might be bad.
don't want to throw global away for a single wit, but now you do throw it away for E-skills. Excalibur's ready to counter initiate, perhaps with an avalanche toss. Don't throw it out just yet here. Nice damage being done as Limb comes through. Stun onto two. It's Ake and Excalibur going down at the same time. Beautiful play from Hanskin to turn this into something good. And now Gorks is not even out of the woods yet either. Can go to the side shot, pick himself up a TP, but with the rage, nothing can cancel it. The Lions fighting back, getting some crucial kills. And
Yeah, Horde just getting too greedy. Like their main stuff was on cooldown. They should have just like let the Wisp die. And that's the really defining moments in like how good a team is. If your communication's really crisp there and you understand what's happening, like maybe you don't lose more heroes than your Wisp, and then you can defend this tower because your ults are back up and you still have global. Instead, they try and take a fight. It doesn't go favorably. Alliance get a nice chunk of change and a bit of map control for their efforts.
We'll get EGM at the very least here. There's a free pick off on the back of the blink on E-skills. So maybe that makes the Lions think twice about continuing here, but at the same time, as I say that, Excalibur is going on. 4 up there from Hanskin. Jonas found on the back, even drops the wall just to make sure. And now, relocate in though, they want to try and turn us around, at least get the trade off onto Hanskin.
Well, that's so sick play from them though, like killing the Tiny and then Loda just realizes to TP out and then Jonas knows he can't be chased.
Yeah.
And all this time, Limp's just sitting, hitting creeps, continuing to like build on his farm, which is pretty dire at this point, considering he's a mid laner.
It's actually so far behind, all things considered. It's even below his offlaner. I mean, granted, it's a Darkseer, he's able to farm very quickly, but still.
Yeah, he was focused a lot. Like, I'm not blaming him. I'm just stating the facts.
Oh,
and now with like,
yeah.
that was really, really close.
Once again, range off's helping out a bit. I'm not sure it would have been enough either, even without that. No, he's good.
No, it's just like the Bane was so close to being in range to cancel the
yeah.
TP. And they see this bomb, so he should be able to survive.
Think better of it. Don't want to try and blink into the blind, so to speak.
The Firefly vision's so awful now. It's like the only bad part of the hero. It used to be vision based, and now you have to use your napalm for vision. Because your vision spell doesn't give you vision.
Feels bad, man.
Still the best hero in the game, technically.
Yeah. Any hero that can reposition your enemies is very, very valuable.
Dire's mid tower won't last much longer.
I mean, that's kind of a bold statement, I think, from me, but still, the hero's amazing. Like, you're still going to see his hero first pick, first ban worthy, I think. This patch did nothing to hurt him. I think it only made him better. And he was already really highly regarded before.
Yep. And now he's... with all the changes to, like, the flame break and everything as well, just... when they limited his ability to cancel TPs with that, they turn him into more of a magical damage dealer even.
Yeah, and you can farm Ancients now, so life gets a lot easier.
He actually finds Loda, but did get the Q off. So should be alright if they get to the... yeah, they get the run out of there.
This is exactly how like Horde needs to not be playing, because now the IO's with the rest of their team, and Alliance are just pushing out 2 lanes for free.
Going top, yeah.
The Bane's
EGM,
gonna die though.
Yeah. EGM,
That's the downside of...
That's just him
But
though,
that's
right?
bait.
I mean, yeah, that's...
Yeah, that's completely baited.
Oh god, yeah. They do find the Batrider. Global Suns comes out, Aki trying to TP. Vacuum is there though to cancel it, so that's 2 heroes down. Load up with the dominating spree.
Well, that's actually so next level on their part.
Yeah. Didn't even consider that. I was just ready to chalk that up to EGM being EGM, playing super greedy. Like, normally he's the one building Midas and shit, just to get some extra golden levels on his hero.
I almost guarantee you that's because he's a Wisp player. He knows any Wisp is going to look at him there and say, what the hell are you doing, dude? I'm just going to come and kill you with my Tiny. And then the rest of my team's going to screw your team. and then Alliance outplay them. And somehow they're making this work. And it's purely because they're moving better, they're playing better. They seem to like, or at least right now, you know, that can change in 2 minutes. That's the problem with Dota. You have to be playing consistently good the entire way.
So far, though, in the last couple of minutes, Alliance seem to have gotten Horde's number, and now they trying to keep the pressure up with smokes, with Loda utilizing that Shadow Blade. Just securing their own jungle, if nothing else. And maybe even going...
There's no global now, so it's like perfect time to smoke.
Going high ground, I saw that the Ancients have just been farmed, but Walk's already out and about.
Yeah. But the way they're doing it's still good. They're smoking with 3 heroes. Their Timber's able to push out the lane, so it's not like too all in. And I think they just wanted to utilize a window where they had no global, and now it's getting closer to the point, so they probably just want to chill and play a bit safer.
Radiant's mid tower's coming apart.
Odd though, I mean, right now they're just trying to bait out Excalibur down bottom by the looks of it, with his skills having a package infest inside of him. It's just wasting a little time in the end.
Yeah, that's not a bait that's gonna ever be a bait.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's very clear to Alliance what Horde are doing right now.
Yeah.
And they don't deem it's worth defending the tier 1, which makes a lot of sense.
Just couldn't save that bottom tower.
So
I think they just rely on the Slark getting bigger. Timber having any resemblance to farm is a really nice thing, but Slark just needs, like, I guess he's going Scatty, and then I'd consider a BKB, but it depends how he feels. Because there isn't that much magic damage that he has to worry about outside of the combo, it's more the lockdown. But if he can play around and kind of feel the game out when global's going to happen, when the lasso's going to hit, etc., then you don't have to go BKB. I just think it makes it easier.
Depends on how confident you are, but yeah, if the global silence hits you at the wrong time, you don't have Dark Pack going already, then all of a sudden you're stuck in the middle of that. Maybe you have the Shadow Blade, maybe you don't. Maybe they have detection, but now they're smoked up. He's skilled with pack inside of them. Global silence, but they're just wasting it for a couple of seconds here. But they still find the Slark here on the central, bringing him down. The rest of Alliance forced out of the game, out of that area of the map at the very least. So it almost looked like they're not going to be able to get anything there.
That was really close. And now, looks like Russians the objective. If they can like use that conjunction of ults to get kills on Slark every time it's up, it's definitely worth. The only thing they have to be somewhat worried about is if Alliance can counterplay them in the 60-70 second window after they respawn and there's the downtime.
Roshan as well is not falling terribly quickly. They can... yeah, they should be falling quickly enough. This Gorg's down the lane for the
they got
Slark
DDs.
back up. Maybe there was
the Alliance need to be careful here. Like, sure, they have a shrine, but
I also have a tiny rock man just looking for somebody with life inside of him, just tosses him at Hanskin, but still gets to roll out. So now this starts to turn around. Excalibur called with the Phoenix on top of the wall, so he dies. Gorg's unable to turn us around. Limp, he wants more than going way too deep. There was only the Aegis going down, maybe didn't get the memo. At the very least, keeps the rest of Horde from helping the tiny out. Relocate and TP out. So Hero's alive. Okay, though, they should be able to track him down. They should surge onto Loda, another jump available in a couple of seconds, and slow from the Echo Saber. Tiny dice twice, Ake dice once, and Pablo, yeah, he comes back from the relocate. Oh man.
feels bad, man.
So was that just going in too deep up against? Did they not expect that there was so much tankiness?
There was like two things that really screwed them over there. One, they fought when like their major ults were on cooldown, and two, when the Tiny initiated, the Lifestealer popped out, so he tossed the Lifestealer, and then the Lifestealer also didn't phase through the Earth Spirit to block his roll to kill him. Like, there's a few execution errors for sure, but they just did not need to fight when they just get their Aegis and Global's down for another 30 seconds. They just got so greedy. And if it worked, I'd say, yeah, they're brilliant because they took the fight without without Global, and they knew it would work.
Ready
But
for bottom.
because it didn't work, now I get to say the opposite and say they got really, really greedy. Because they didn't need to fight there. They were in a position where they weren't getting split pushed, or they didn't have any immediate threats. They just needed to wait for their stuff, and then they would have been Gucci. Whereas now they give away a mid tower, they gave away their Aegis, which was a huge advantage for them. And if Alliance ever get them in the window where they like outplay with a relocate scenario like they did with EGM dying top, doing the tactical feeds, then maybe Slack finishes his next item, and then you can't kill him before you get the next Aegis. Like, life gets really hard for them now, because Timber is also a relevant hero now. He is like completely back up to par. He's got 16 Bloodstone charges, finished his Hood, and working towards a Lotus Orb. Like, if you had this farm, you wouldn't consider it bad. And you saw his start, it was dire. So it's really good for them.
Yeah, he's just super hard to deal with, so if Horde wants to try and bring him down, he's gonna have to commit quite a lot. Especially with the talents that he went for here. Plus 14 health regions, it's an extra 14 DPS that you have to make work. So he's sitting at like 32 region without any reactive armor stacks. Plus all the armor, plus the magic resistance from the Hood.
Yep. He's going to be able to sit in the middle of the fights and draw the focus while his Slack decides when he wants to go in and pick apart at the edges.
Yep.
Which is kind of exactly how they need. And then also Darkseid gets the luxury of seeing if a jump is good or not, because Timbersaw is probably going to provide a lot of vision.
Well, might be on the bad rider, but EGM tries to TP out, lasts it up though as
Oh, that's so good though. Like relocate and lasso for the Bane that was already going to die without the relocate. And they're gonna, yeah, I think they have a good read here.
Yeah, okay, he's one remaining, so the relocate comes back, takes them back. It means that Arke is alone, still alive, bit of a toss back.
Yeah, you don't kick him
right?
away from your damage dealer, mate, but it still works. It's still Gucci. And they're even going to find the ward.
No harm, no foul, I guess.
Oh, maybe not. Loda didn't ping anything. Maybe he wasn't looking at his hero. Yeah, I think he was buying items. So that ward's going to remain, which is a really big deal, because it's a good ward. Gives you a shit ton of good vision.
Keeps an eye on the rune, keeps an eye on
Seen better days.
the lane a little
That's
bit
like
as
the
well.
perfect ward. It triple dips in effectiveness.
Yep. Alright, so Alliance still in a good spot. Starting to also head into those level 20 talents on a couple of heroes. Loda and Limp to be exact, so extra taking this as attack speed for the Snada. And some extra damage probably from Timbersaw. Oh, relocate up top here, looking for Limp, but that's not an easy target to relocate on. Eastkins was ready though to turn this around. That's a 4-hero rotation essentially to make that work, and it did.
It's well worth it though.
Yep. Take him down a notch, especially with the Bloodstone charge. He had 16 before. Now down to 10. That does mean that he'll be back there soon. A Global Suns comes out. Loda able to dodge that though with his Q. And that is an unfortunate pause. We already saw Hanskin die in the back here due to a combo. And yeah, you definitely need your mouse if you want to fun in this team fight. Silenced or not.
I think Limp meant his mouse is dead, but he's dead, so screw him. Unpause, let's go. He's dead, dude. Your mouse is irrelevant. Pauses like this are so bad for everyone, though.
Yeah.
It's like now you just get so much time to decide what's going to happen. Generally, both teams decide it's bad to fight and leave. That is my experience, but I have a feeling that ain't gonna happen here.
Yeah, Loda still with his ultimate at the ready here. Arke can't finish him off now. The Fiend's grip onto lifesteal. Nice little vacuum all. Just 4 heroes. That's one down, but Gorks and Excalibur both still large in charge in the middle of that until Loda starts to take initiative, gets one. Now looking for Excalibur. Limb also making an appearance here as he responds. So they do find these 2 big damage dealers, only losing the supports, and Bingo support, poor Pablo. Next one on the list here. Tries to make him work for it, attending to the creep wave, but Jonas Fan also making his way back. That is a dead ball of light for sure. Man. Oh, that was a good vacuum. I'm not gonna lie. Global silence just not lasting long enough.
No, they just couldn't get anything off the global, which
Yeah.
was a problem. And the fact they'd already used their lasso to kill a hero that then came back into the fight and had impact is, again, a problem.
Yeah.
Again, I think they just overstayed their welcome a bit. Because I think the longer fights, especially when Timber can TP back after he's got a really low respawn, Slark's obviously building stacks the entire time, so it's only getting harder as the fight progresses. And they'd already used all their stuff, so I don't know. They even needed to kite more so their spells came up, or they needed to like bail, I think. And they were also down the Wisp hero because of it was a really good idea for him to leave whoever it was he tethered to relocate before with their team. But obviously the Wisp is still a very valuable hero.
Yeah.
And you didn't have that for the first bits of the fight. And by the time he got there it was like already over.
Loda scouting around with a shadow. Invisrune actually, so has some extra time on that. Good. When do you think he'll upgrade to the Silver Edge? Zero.
Definitely not until BKB. I think the thing with Silver Edge this game is it's nice for Craggy, but BKB does that for you.
Yeah.
And then it's just like, I don't think you need Silver Edge ever. I think I'd rather just buy a butterfly, just any stat damage item instead. The main reason you get Silver Edge is because it's like fairly efficient for the slot.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to keep a Shadow Blade,
irrelevant in the game.
Yeah, if you're going to keep a Shadow Blade, you definitely want to upgrade it just for the extra stats and just the lower cooldown. Puts that 28 seconds to like, yeah, I guess.
Even Bloodthorn, like BKB into Bloodthorn could be very good here.
Oh yeah.
It makes Nyx's life really, really hard.
Definitely still has slots for it here. The BKB you can to replace Ring of Aquila, you can keep your TPs in the backpack anyway, so. But yeah. Alliance smoking up, securing the jungle. Looks like Horde knows what's going on though, so going into the trees and presumably TPing out. If they had a TP, he's guys actually not holding on to one, so still sticking around. Global Silence comes through, and this could be a good one to relocate in. Slark unable to dodge that one. Limb also caught in the middle of that. So much damage being done by Gorksy with a Desolated Basher and the Armlet. Now they even catch Jonas Fan here, even with that Lotus Orb. EGM gives his own life for the cause, but still a triple kill for Excalibur.
And that is exactly how Horde need to make plays. And I was almost thinking they're going to throw even more there. But
Yes.
it's like when you initiate with Global like that, there's nothing that Alliance can do. The only hero that has a way out of it is Darkseer and Timber, both of which were like
They
away from the
want
fight.
some revenge
But now
here.
they're
Initiated
initiating more
Excalibur,
heroes.
but yeah, that wasn't gonna work without a damage dealer. Oh, he's still alive, and Lim just targeted to the party.
Yeah, now they might even have the ability to push the tower. But instead they want to go for more kills. I guess Tiny can push. He has Ags now. Just got delivered. So all their pushing woes are now gone.
Power's just gonna heal him up. They'll have another relocate as well.
Yeah, take the mid tier 2 I think next.
Yep.
Or wait for global. It really depends how confident they feel.
Or wait for Roche as well. That's another consideration here. It's about to be back up.
Yeah, they got the courier scouting, so they'll know the second it spawns.
Radiant's bottom tower ain't a pretty sight right now.
Like the TP down from Aki is like the least valuable hero to not have around the Roche pit, but it might cue Alliance to come kill him, push the tower. Because Roche could have been up like 2-3 minutes ago. So they might even think that Horde's taking it right now.
So far, they aren't.
And now
This
Loda
is-
has BKB, so what happened last fight is a lot less likely to happen.
If he's quick enough on the BKB trigger finger before it gets lassoed, that is. But yeah. They have another shot here to take a team fight, especially if they find a good initiation. Right now, Horde are kind of split up, and they did reveal themselves mid. So he's skilled here, but of course he's the gem holder, so he also saw Loda making an appearance. Now,
Yeah, he
well,
also
if this wasn't 7.0, then Alliance would be the team in the right position to take Roche to secure that area, but it's on the other side of the map now, so Horde's working away at that, with Excalibur and Gorks in the middle. Alliance is smoked up, they're ready to fight, and they're gonna get there at the right time, they just need the perfect initiation here. The bash on the Gorks, not ideal here, as Nightmare on the Batrider stops at lasso, but they're still going to lose one. That's gonna be Nye on Limb. Loda in the middle of that too, but now pops his ultimate, BKB also going, still keeping alive, he's stacking up that intelligence, taking down the lifesteal. Excalibur still pretty damn scary though, currently being controlled up by the sounds from Hanskin. Is Jonas fun? Well, buying a lot of time, still alive actually is Paolo, drags him down, but Loda, perfect position to go back into the fight, finish up another one. 2 for 2 trades so far. Meanwhile, on the high ground, okay, Hanskin just going in a little bit too deep, just chasing Excalibur and his skills away, but still, good fight for Alliance if they can keep this Roshan alive, but it's still Excalibur, he does have Pablo behind him. Not an easy target to bring down, even with 4 stacks of Essence Shift in you. And his skills still holding on to the gem. Loda has to go in deep, but doesn't have the BKB. He needs to have some extra help. Buyback from Hanskin comes through. Nice little stone on to 2 heroes. Roll through. Continuing the silence on her time. He's trying to control him up. Buy some time for Loda. Fiends go on Batrider, but they can't even bring him down. Loda, he barely gets his ultimate off. Excalibur just looking so large in middle lane, but the rest of his team starting to drop low. Oh god, Loda. He will die to another Echo Saber hit from the Tiny, now being controlled up by the Nightmare and finished up by Limb. So they did what they set out to do. They bring down the Behemoth and are looking for one nice little relocate out on Aki. Buyback from his skills. They want to fight around the Shrine. Alliance don't want to let them TP out in vain. Hanskin going the other direction. Doesn't have a TP for another 25. And Limb, well, he's caught in a bad position too. He gets the Timber Chain out across the river. So this fight will finally be at an end. Or will it? Roshan is still alive, very, very low. With Gorks back up, Horde can still take it. And without Loda, Alliance cannot continue to contest.
Yeah, it's just too low now and they're too far away, so... In the end, it's a bit of a shit show fight, but you get Aegis at the end of it, so as long as you can make use of that, you're going to be quite happy. It's all just about them being able to close out the game with an Aegis, I think.
Yeah. Graphs at this point don't really tell us too much. Fairly even, both gold as well as experience. With the Aegis in hand now and the Lifestealer, they can let's go a bit more YOLO, take another good team fight, and we've seen the limits of Alliance, right? When we go beyond the realm of just the clean initiations and whatnot.
Well, they actually had like a really good start to the fight. It's just they went a tiny bit too far, and then once their Timber got caught out by the Shrine, it just became a mess. Which is kind of the story of these games. The team that overextends and gets punished is generally on the losing end of everything. There's been very few situations where it's like they backed up at the right time.
Try and salvage it now. There were 2 buybacks actually in a fight, one on Hanskin, but Eskills also turned from the dead.
Fairly irrelevant buyback timers, so...
None of the big cores had to use it. But Timbers are down to 7 bloods on charges now. Did he get a deny off there? I think he did.
Where?
In the fight in the beginning. I think Limp denied himself.
I don't know. I know he lived at the end because there was some stupid interaction where he was meant to get yours by a Batrider and he still got to chain away because of Lotus Orb. I don't know what happened there actually. Like if you Yules him mid-chain and it breaks the chain, right? I'm almost 100% sure on that.
It should, yeah.
Yeah, and then Lotus Orb Yulzed the Batrider, and he didn't get Yulzed.
So maybe
There wasn't a Lincoln's on him, so I don't know.
I think if the chain has not connected yet, it's already flying out, then you get yours, and if you then... That doesn't make sense. They get the relocate out plus the global silence. They should at least finish up Pablo here after this particular engagement, unless Horde want to fight, but the rest of them walking away. So that'll be that. But yeah, I think if you get Jules just before the chain actually connects, then the chain yanks you out of the Jules, if you know what I mean. I think that's what happened there.
Sure, we'll go with that.
Similar to how the patch.
But he never got Yulzed on my screen, I swear to God. Anyway, it doesn't matter. With Alliance finding that kill, Global being down, they have a window where I think they can feasibly look for some kind of fight, which is generally very hard to do into an Aegis, and also Batrider with Gem is very dangerous to play against.
Levels Gorgs into the middle lane. Spending too
He's
much
also
time
falling
inside.
5k on the Lifestealer.
Oh yeah.
So a third of his net worth is not even on the hero.
Well, yes, the MKB queued up and almost enough money to just one-shot buy it. More or less.
Kind of surprised he'd go MKB.
Yeah.
I feel like
It's
Bloodfawn
so-
would be the better option.
There's no evasion coming out, or no evasion talents even on any of Alliance's heroes, is there?
I mean, the mini stun's nice, I suppose, but I feel like Bloodfawn's just... I suppose Bloodfawn is going to get Lotus 100% of the time, because they have two, which is really annoying. And MKB is just like good raw damage, and if Slack ever wants to go into a butterfly, then he's heavily dissuaded from doing so.
Yep. It's gotta be it, because mini Basher don't really care about that, you have a proper Basher already. So, gotta start looking for the damage instead. Yeah. Tier 2 dies, last remaining out of tier tower for Team Alliance, so they're also going to lose their shrines now. Wards started to take the map control. Also on the back of the vision, he had some pretty decent wards out. Keep an eye on rotations here towards the bottom side of the map.
Yeah. Alliance do have a gem of their own though, so these wards ain't gonna last too long. But it does give you the vision of where they're going, what they're doing, and then you can formulate what you want to do off of that.
This turns into
They
a
just
one-time
finish
thing.
the MPB.
Right? It only helps you one time, then it gets dewarded. Aegis is down. Hanskin looking for another Lotus Orb. Now they're grouped up to perhaps smoke. I have one on EGM.
I think they're just scared to split up at all right now. And maybe they don't have a good read on what's happening on the map, so that's generally the time you hug your buddies and don't move.
So that was it. Still doing that here. It's only Jonas and Farn just pushing out the top lane a little bit. With that Silver Edge now on the Slugs, and he's only level 25, so went for the plus 12 all stats. Make him a little bit more dangerous, but he's still gonna need to stay alive in these fights. Kind of the most important thing, just not stacking up these essential stacks. Then relocate in onto EGM. If they can turn us around, that's a good bait. If they can't, just free pick off, and looks like Alliance not gonna get anything there. Pablo just takes Excalibur back out. Gorks even still infested into him, so didn't see the need to just walk out.
And now it's just a slow, grindy game of do Horde manage to find like relevant pickoffs that give them the incentive to go high ground, or do they have to wait for the Aegis and Cheese? Because with how Alliance are playing, it's quite similar to last game. They're extremely close knit. Like finding the Bane there, it's a very irrelevant pickoff, so I don't think they mind too much if he happens to die once or twice. Which is why he's like further away from the team, I suppose. But it makes it hard for Horde to ever find the pickoff that they need. Because now, like, both teams they have gems, so wards aren't going to stay up, so teams probably aren't going to bother placing them. They're going to save them for when you're taking fights. Because having vision around the area you're fighting in is one of the most important things.
Yep. So they're just jockeying for position, getting into the late game Dota area where everyone's kind of has most of their basic core items at the ready.
Yep, anything can happen at this kind of point.
Yep.
The game can go full retard.
Not that full retard and half retard, right?
Never go half, man. Always go full.
Wise words, Big Daddy No Tail. Never forget. Well, E-Skills and Gorgs once again up top, just looking for something. Trying to bait at Arcade, but it's very obvious. At the same time, rest of Alliance is somewhere else entirely, just finishing up this tier 2. It's clearing up a little bit more. Now, they still have tier 2 mid left standing between them and the Shrines. So Horde can still feel alright about that. Arcade continuing to push a little bit. Not the scariest part, but yeah. It's just a matter of who blinks first, right? If who gets impatient first gets caught out.
Yeah, it's probably more likely with at least how Horde have been playing. They seem like slightly less disciplined, so maybe Alliance show one good jump and they YOLO for it. That might be the story of how this game gets closed out. Or it could be the other way, you know. Because they have been playing really well when it comes to like splitting up the map, using their combo as effectively as possible.
Something Hatskin on high ground here. They go in onto Limp here. Global Silence comes through and immediately lures stop up. He's still, he actually gets his way out of there. Lures up, actually tosses the Batrider back, so he dies first. BKB bites back immediately, but Feedscript onto Tiny. He dies before the relocate can come back out. Pablo unable to help his buddy, and they're waiting for him here, but yeah, he tries to go for a TP play. Not gonna work. Alright, so Lim barely surviving there, thanks to the Global Silence being purged off, so he could get the Timber Chain off, then the Lorsops reflecting the toss from the Batrider. Back into the middle of things.
This E-Skills guy has no shell. he really, like, doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Who he jumps into and how. And that might be a small problem for his team.
And they almost got him, to their credit, right? They almost got Limp.
Yeah, but
the rest of his team, of course, behind him, able to stop that from happening.
If this was a pub or something, and you said, "Yeah, I'm just getting bored of how this game's playing. I'm going to YOLO," that's like a different thing. Like, I did that earlier, but Aegis is a natural result of the fight that would have happened there. So if you lose that fight, you lose Aegis.
Lose Aegis, you perhaps lose high ground, Loda.
And Cheese as well. So like now Slack has a Moonshard, he's got his BKB to swap in for when the Aegis pops. Now they get the chance to clean up the shrine as well, and they're kind of in fighting shape now.
Yep.
Only thing they're missing really is like EGM has his Glimmer in base and Limp nearly has an axe, so they might decide to wait for that. And then looks like all green lights, just go, go, go. They missed the window where like Global's off, but I don't really blame them for not forcing it too much. It's just risky.
Smoke crosses, Loda finds Pablo all alone, so that's the first free pickoff. Now looking for more Gorgs, idling from this team, but Excalibur trying to fight up against the Slark. It's not the best here to go on here. Lursops everywhere, just countering out the Global Silence, and even if they kill Loda, it's gonna come right back, but it can't even kill him here. There's way too much sustain. Triple kill as the damage shield gets caught inside the wall, and Arcane, well, even the high ground does not save him. Neither will that Ghost Scepter. Gorgs bites back.
Only one with buyback.
Yeah, what can you do?
Else is, sans buyback, so.
He's trying to fight up against Lim, but he alone does not have the strength
to
do that. With Excalibur, maybe there's a chance. But you still have
This has to be
Aegis, you still
clean
have
as hell.
Cheese, and this is not clean at all. They have a good stun, but follow up from the vacuum to turn us around. Loda's still very much alive and kicking with a ridiculous amount of acid chip stacks. Now looking for Gorks as he's still alive, and Loda, well, he loses the Aegis. But Horde are the team who lose the games. GG is called. These girls, last one fall. So 0-4 in the groups. That means that they will definitely start off in the quarterfinals of the playoffs. It's going to be between Alliance and Team Empire to see which of these teams will actually make it into the semi-final starting spot. Alright, PKZ, any last words about this game?
I feel really bad for Horde because they play well, and then it's just like this one big clusterfuck fight where someone goes too deep, and then they lose all their advantage, and then Alliance win. I feel bad for them.
It is what it is.
But yeah,
and
that's basically why they lost. Like the Batrider initiation kind of threw the game at the end, and then they were playing like on the ropes the entire time. It just made their game way too hard.
Alright, so with that, we're going to take a short break, but the next game is right on the docket. It's on the docket right now. It's going to be Alliance vs Team Empire, as I said, so don't go too far away.